Hey guys, Mr. Klein here, again with Mr. Mitchell. We're going to be talking about the age of exploration today. This is going to be a big part of how we got to the Americas and how we started our colonial times in North America. Let's get it going.
Today we're going to answer the question, why did European exploration begin to flourish in the 1400s? There are two main reasons that stand out. We're going to focus on the first, which is Europeans of the time had several motives for exploring the world. For early explorers, one of the primary motives for exploration was the desire to establish new trade routes to Asia. By the 1400s, merchants and crusaders had brought numerous goods to Europe from Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Demand for these goods increased the desire for trade. Europeans were especially interested in spices from Asia. They had learned to use spices to help preserve food during winter and to conceal the taste of food that was no longer fresh. Trade with the East, however, was difficult and very expensive, in part because Muslims and Italians controlled the flow of goods. Muslim traders carried goods to the east coast of the Mediterranean Sea, and Italian merchants then brought the goods into Europe. Problems arose when Muslim rulers sometimes closed the trade routes from Asia to Europe. Also, the goods passed through many hands, and each trading partner increased the price. European monarchs and merchants wanted to break the hold that Muslims and Italians had on trade. One way to do so was to find a sea route to Asia. Portuguese sailors looked for a route that went around Africa, and Christopher Columbus tried to reach Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic. Other motives also came into play. Many people were excited about the opportunity for new knowledge, while explorers sought the chance to earn fame and glory, as well as wealth. As new lands were discovered, nations wanted to claim the land's riches for themselves. A final motive for exploration was the desire to spread Christianity beyond Europe. Both Protestant and Catholic nations were eager to make new converts, with missionaries of both faiths following the paths blazed by explorers.
The age of exploration began in Portugal, a small country located on the Iberian Peninsula. Its rulers sent explorers first to nearby Africa and then around the world. The major figure in early Portuguese exploration was Prince Henry, the son of King John I of Portugal. Nicknamed the Navigator, Prince Henry was not an explorer himself, but he encouraged exploration and planned and directed many important expeditions. Beginning in 1418, Henry sent explorers to sea almost every year. He also started a school of navigation, where sailors and map makers could learn new trades. His cartographers made new maps based on the information ship captains brought back. Henry's early expeditions focused on the west coast of Africa. He wanted to continue the crusades against the Muslims, find gold, and participate in Asian trade. With Portugal setting the stage for early exploration, another Iberian Peninsula country wanted to get into the business. In the late 1400s, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain were determined to make their country a powerful force in Europe. One way they thought to do this was to sponsor explorations to claim new names for Spain. The early Spanish explorations greatly changed Europeans' views of the world. The voyages of Christopher Columbus revealed the existence of the Americas, and Magellan's expedition opened up a westward route to the Indies. It showed that it was possible to sail completely around the world. It also proved that Columbus had indeed found a quote, new world, one that Europeans had not realized was there. Columbus's voyages marked the beginning of Spanish settlement in the West Indies, which earned Spain great wealth. Settlers mined for precious minerals such as gold and silver and started sugar plantations. The Spanish also brought new crops such as sweet potatoes and pineapples to Europe. For the native people of the West Indies, however, Spanish settlement was extremely detrimental. The Spanish forced native people to work as slaves in the mines and on plantations, and priests forced many of them to become Christians. When the Spanish arrived, perhaps 1 or 2 million Taíno lived on the islands. Within 50 years, fewer than 500 Taíno were left, with most having died of starvation, overwork, or European diseases. Like Portugal, Spain looked to West Africa for new laborers. From 1518 through the mid-1800s, the Spanish brought millions of enslaved Africans to work in their American colonies.
After Columbus's voyage, Spain was eager to claim even more lands in the New World. To explore and conquer New Spain, the Spanish turned to adventurers called conquistadors, or conquerors. The conquistadors were allowed to establish settlements and seize the wealth of natives. In return, the the Spanish government claimed some of the treasures they found. The explorations and conquest of the conquistadors transformed Spain. The Spanish rapidly expanded foreign trade and overseas colonization. For a time, wealth from the Americas made Spain one of the world's richest and most powerful countries. Besides gold and silver, ships from the Americas brought corn and potatoes to Spain. These crops grew well in Europe, and increased food supply helped spur a population boom. Conquistadors also introduced Europeans to new luxury items such as chocolates. In the long run, however, gold and silver from the Americas hurt Spain's economy. Inflation, or an increase in the supply of money, led to the loss of its value, and it's cost people a great deal more to buy goods with the devalued money. Additionally, monarchs and the wealthy spent their riches on luxuries instead of building Spain's industries. The Spanish conquest had a major impact on the New World. The Spanish introduced new animals to the Americas, such as horses, cattle, sheep, and pigs. However, they destroyed two advanced civilizations, with the Aztecs and Incas losing much of their culture along with their wealth. Many became laborers for the Spanish, and millions died from the disease. In Mexico, for example, there were about 25 million native people in 1519, but by 1605, this number had dwindled to 1 million.
The voyages of explorers had a dramatic impact on European commerce and economies. As a result of exploration, more goods, raw materials, and precious metals entered Europe. Mapmakers carefully charted trade routes and the locations of newly discovered lands. By the 1700s, European ships traveled trade routes that spanned the globe. New centers of commerce developed in the port cities of the Netherlands and England. Exploration and trade contributed to the growth of capitalism. This economic system is based on investing money for profit. Merchants gain great wealth by trading and selling goods from around the world. Many of them use their profits to finance still more voyages and to start trading companies. Other people began investing money in these companies and shared in the profits, and soon, this type of shared ownership was applied to other kinds of businesses. Another aspect of this capitalist economy concerned how people exchanged goods and services. Money became more important as precious metals flowed into Europe. Instead of having a fixed price, items were sold for prices set by the open market. This meant that an item's price depended on how much of the item was available and how many people wanted to buy it. Sellers could charge high prices for scarce items that many people wanted. If the supply of an item was large and few people wanted it, sellers lowered the price. This kind of system, based on supply and demand, is called a market economy. Labor, too, was given a money value. Increasingly, people began working for hire instead of directly providing for their own needs. Merchants hired people to work for their own cottages, turning raw materials from overseas into finished products. This growing cottage industry was especially important in the manufacture of textiles. Often, entire families worked at home, spinning wool into thread or weaving thread into cloth. Cottage industry was a step towards a system of factories operated by capitalists in later centuries. A final result of exploration was a new economic policy called mercantilism. European rulers believed that building up wealth was the best way to increase a nation's power. For this reason, they tried to reduce the products they bought from other countries and to increase the items they sold. Having colonies was a key part of this policy. Nations looked to their colonies to supply raw materials for their industries at home. These industries turned the raw materials into finished goods that they could sell back to their colonies as well as to other countries. To protect this valuable trade with their colonies, rulers often forbade colonists from trading with other nations.
And there you have it. In this lesson, you learned about the age of exploration. Beginning in the 1400s, European explorers went on great voyages of discovery. We talked about causes of European exploration, with European explorers seeking wealth and land for their monarchs, as well as knowledge and adventure for themselves. They also wanted to spread Christianity. A number of advances in knowledge and technology made their journeys possible. We also talked about the impact of exploration on Europe. Exploration vastly increased Europeans' knowledge. New foods led to a population explosion. Investment in expedition and colonies contributed to the growth of capitalism, a market economy, cottage industries, and mercantilism. Alright, until next time, see you later.